Every ancient forest holds a hush you can only hear when the world grows still. A soft, steady breath woven through bark, roots, and drifting evening light. And among all the forests on earth, few fall as deeply into that quiet as the groves of the giant sequoias. Here, dusk doesn't simply arrive. It settles like a slow thought, or a warm blanket placed across the shoulders of the land. As you breathe gently, imagine towering trunks rising calmly into the twilight, their reddish bark glowing faintly as the last daylight slips away. Each tree has stood through thousands of nights like this, unchanging, unhurried, content to simply be. Their presence alone is enough to remind you that nothing in nature rushes and everything alive knows how to rest. Welcome to sleepy nature sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. In these next moments, we'll drift slowly into the hidden nighttime world of the sequoia forest, a world that only reveals itself when the noise of day finally loosens its grip. The forest floor will grow cooler, the ferns will soften into stillness, and the silhouettes of branches high above will sway like slow-moving clouds. Owls will glide without sound. Beetles will trace tiny patterns in the bark, and the sequoias themselves, ancient, steady, impossibly tall, will keep their patient watch over everything. Before we begin our journey tonight, if this gentle corner of nature helps you unwind or gives your mind a quiet place to settle after a long day, consider leaving a soft note in the comments or liking the video. It helps this sleepy forest find others who may need it. And if you ever wish to return here or wander through other peaceful corners of the wild, subscribing is a way of leaving a lantern on the path so you can find your way back. Should you feel called to support this calm little sanctuary of storytelling, every gesture, big or small, helps us keep exploring nature's quiet wonders together. But for now, nothing is required, just presence, just breath. Now rest deeper into your pillow. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your mind drift toward the gentle scent of forest dusk. Tonight, you and I will wander softly through the nightlife of the giant sequoias, unhurried, unbound, and wrapped in the peaceful rhythm of the oldest trees on earth. As the last traces of daylight dissolve into the cool evening air, a simple question drifts through the quiet grove. What does a forest remember? It's not a question that seeks an answer quickly or even clearly. Instead, it floats the way mist moves through the understory, slow, harmless, and curious in a soft, thoughtful way. A giant sequoia carries centuries within its rings. Thousands of nights like this have settled over its branches. Rainfall, snowmelt, warm summers, gentle springs, they rest within its wood like faint echoes, never demanding recall, yet never fully gone. The forest does not remember the way people remember. It keeps impressions instead. Gentle patterns of moisture, the coolness of long winters, the warmth of slow summers, and the persistent presence of wind weaving between trunks. As you breathe slowly, imagine these impressions layering themselves quietly over time. A grove of sequoias stands not as a monument to history, but as a soft collection of seasons, each one folded into the next with no urgency, no resistance. The forest remembers by existing, by standing, by growing at a pace so steady, you almost forget movement is happening at all. The night deepens a little now. A cool hush spreads across the forest floor. Ferns lean gently towards shadow. The air grows thick with the warm scent of bark. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing calls out. Everything simply shifts one soft degree toward rest. In this calm atmosphere, the guiding question lingers. What does a forest remember? Not as a puzzle, but as a companion, as something to wander with, not solve. Maybe the forest remembers patience. Maybe it remembers how to remain gentle through every season. Maybe it remembers that stillness is not emptiness, but a kind of quiet fullness. And as we move deeper into the world of the giant sequoias tonight, we carry that question softly with us, not as a weight, but as a lantern. As we drift a little deeper into the forest, the landscape begins to reveal itself in soft layers. Nothing sudden, nothing dramatic, simply a slow unfolding, like a curtain of dusk being drawn open inch by inch. Giant sequoias rise gently around us, their trunks wide enough to feel like entire worlds standing quietly side by side. They do not tower in a way that demands attention. Instead, they stand with a kind of peaceful generosity, as though offering shelter to all who wander beneath them. The air here carries a coolness that feels carefully placed. Not cold, not sharp, just a tender reminder that night is settling into its rhythms. A faint scent of resin floats upward from the bark, warmed by the day, yet softened by the evening. The forest floor beneath us is cushioned with fallen needles, forming a quiet blanket that hushes every step, every shift of air, every wandering thought. Above, branches spread outward like calm, steady arms. They hold the sky in gentle patterns, framing patches of fading light. The canopy doesn't close in. Instead, it creates a sense of sanctuary, an open calmness that invites the mind to soften. Here, everything feels unhurried. Even the breeze glides with a slow, thoughtful motion, weaving between trunks as if it has all the time in the world. As your breath settles into an easy rhythm, picture how the forest prepares for night, not with action, but with acceptance. Light lowers itself onto the bark. Shadows lengthen without urgency. The first notes of nocturnal life hum quietly through the understory, never rising into noise, never disturbing the softness that fills the grove. This is the landscape before us, not a scene waiting to be explored, but a presence waiting to be felt. A place where the sequoias do not simply grow. They rest into their space, anchoring centuries of calm into the soil. Every detail drifts naturally into the next. The gentle slope of the land, the muted colors of dusk, the slow exchange of cool air against warm bark. In this quiet atmosphere, the world doesn't ask anything of you. It simply offers you room to breathe, to slow down, to notice how wide and generous the night can be. As the last hints of daylight settle into the gaps between the trees, the forest becomes a soft cradle of stillness, inviting us to follow its rhythm, step by unhurried step. And now, with the landscape gently set around us, we begin our slow journey into the nightlife of these ancient giants. Twilight in a sequoia grove arrives with the quiet grace of a soft brushstroke. The light shifts slowly, never quite fading, just drifting from gold to amber, then from amber to a gentle dusky rose. When this warm glow touches the bark of the giant sequoias, something serene happens. The trunks begin to shine with a subtle warmth, as though holding on to the day just a little longer, not out of urgency, but out of a calm remembrance of sunlight. The bark itself, thick and textured, absorbs the evening light in a way that softens everything around it. Even the surrounding air seems to glow a little, warmed by the deep reddish hue. Shadows stretch quietly across the forest floor, creating long, peaceful patterns that move as slowly as thought. Nothing feels sharp here. Nothing insists. Everything is rounded by the gentle glow. As you breathe in, imagine the scent rising from the bark, sweet, earthy, infused with a warmth carried from many hours of sunlight. It's a scent that asks nothing from you, but it does invite your mind to slow just a little more, to settle, to drift. The twilight doesn't hurry its descent. Instead, it caresses the edges of each trunk, softening its features and giving the forest a feeling of quiet depth. Far above, the upper branches catch the last bits of light, turning them into faint glimmers that sway in the breeze. They move not with force, but with ease, creating the impression of a sky gently exhaling. There is a peaceful balance in this moment. The day has not fully left, and the night has not fully arrived. It is a space between things, a gentle threshold where everything seems to pause in a shared breath. Even the small creatures of the forest sense this calm. They do not stir loudly or rush into their nightly routines. They simply shift into place, adjusting softly to the changing light. As we stand in this softening world, the sequoias feel almost like companions, a quiet presence that steadies the air around them. They do not react to twilight. They accept it, letting the day fade at its own gentle pace. And so, in this tender hour, twilight touching bark becomes a quiet invitation, an invitation to relax deeper, to release the day, to settle into the calm rhythm of night beginning to unfold. In the deepening quiet of the sequoia grove, the giant trees seem to take on the presence of something softly alive, steady, grounded, and unhurried. Though they do not move the way animals do, they follow rhythms that feel almost like a kind of slow breathing. Their bark warms during the day and releases that warmth gently into the cooling night. Moisture rises from the soil, settles around their roots, and flows upward through their trunks in a patient climb. As you imagine standing beside one of these giants, picture the calmness held within its enormous trunk. Layer upon layer of wood, centuries of growth, rests there in complete ease. Nothing within the tree rushes, nothing forces its way upward. Instead, everything moves with the softness of a drifting cloud, rising through vessels that have carried the memory of water for hundreds, even thousands of years. A quiet exchange happens between the tree and the air. Not an action, but a presence. The leaves release tiny breaths of moisture that cool the canopy. The canopy, in turn, shapes the air below into a gentle pocket of tranquility. You can almost feel it, a hush that gathers beneath the branches, thick but soothing, as if the forest itself is preparing a place for rest. High above, the outer leaves stir with the faintest touch of breeze. They shift just enough to catch pockets of moonlight, creating small glimmers that drift between branches. Even this movement feels slow, as though the tree is adjusting itself in the rhythm of sleep rather than wakefulness. If you listen closely in your imagination, you might sense the soft creak of wood, not strained, but comfortable, always settling into a posture of calm. The forest around the sequoias responds to their steadiness. Ferns lean gently toward the warm trunks. Moss thickens at their base, collecting the moisture that gathers there during twilight. Even the air seems to pause, cooling slowly as it touches the bark. Everything in this grove adjusts itself in harmony with the tree's quiet presence. As your breathing finds its own steady pace, imagine the sequoia breathing alongside you, not with lungs or motion, but through its steady exchange of water, air, and warmth. A giant that inhales the coolness of night and exhales the lingering calm of day. In this gentle rhythm, nothing hurries, nothing interrupts. Everything rests into place. The slow breathing of a giant teaches us that stillness is not the absence of life. It is simply life choosing to move at the softest possible pace. Far above the forest floor, the canopy of the giant sequoias stretches into quiet patterns of silhouettes and soft movement. Most of the forest never sees what happens this high. The slow sway of ancient branches, the faint shimmer of needles brushing against moonlight, the gentle drift of air that has traveled long distances to land in this lofty world. Yet everything up here moves in a rhythm so calm, it feels like the treetops themselves are dreaming. As night settles deeper, the shadows of the canopy begin to lengthen across the grove. They flow downward like soft cloth, covering the ground in gentle patches that shift without urgency. Each shadow has its own shape, its own tone, its own small story told in the language of stillness. None of them insist on being noticed. They simply accompany the night, spreading across bark and soil in peaceful companionship. High above, the branches stretch outward in sweeping arcs, each one wide enough to cradle small ecosystems of moss, lichen, and tiny insects. In the quiet of night, these miniature worlds continue their slow patterns. No creature hurries. No leaf trembles with alarm. Instead, everything responds to the cool air with a soft settling, as though preparing to rest. The canopy's needles catch strands of moonlight and guide them downward in thin silver traces. These glimmers move in an easy, swaying rhythm, forming delicate patterns on the forest floor, patterns that shift gently as the branches breathe with the wind. Watching them is like watching the surface of a calm lake, steady, repetitive, endlessly soothing. A faint hum fills the air, not sharp or demanding, but round and muted, like a distant echo carried by the breeze. Perhaps it comes from the movement of needles, perhaps from tiny insects adjusting to the coolness. Whatever its source, the sound blends seamlessly with the forest's general calm, creating a soft background tone that asks nothing from the listener. As the shadows deepen, the grove feels held beneath a vast, sheltering roof. The high branches do not close out the sky. They frame it, offering a gentle balance between openness and protection. Through their patterns, faint constellations peek through, small stars resting in pockets of night between the branches. In this soft interplay of shadow, light, and breath, the canopy becomes a quiet ceiling for the forest's nighttime world. It drifts, it softens, It embraces the night with a patience shaped by thousands of years, and beneath it all, the grove rests quietly, wrapped in the shadows of trees that have watched countless nights unfold in the same calm rhythm. As the sky deepens into a soft navy blue, the quieter birds of the forest begin their gentle transition into the night. Their world is not filled with sudden flights or sharp calls. Instead, it unfolds in unhurried motions, small adjustments of feathers, slow glides between branches, and quiet perches taken beneath the sheltering canopy of the sequoias. Owls are among the first to appear, though appear may be too strong a word for what they do. They simply ease into the dimness, their wings brushing the air with movements so soft they're barely there. You might imagine one settling on a wide branch, its body steady, its feathers resting against the gentle breeze. It takes in the dim landscape not with urgency, but with a slow, attentive presence that mirrors the calm of the forest around it. A nighthawk drifts through the open spaces between trunks, its path long and sweeping, guided by soft instinct rather than speed. Its motions resemble a quiet ribbon carried by wind, nothing abrupt, nothing that disturbs the hush that fills the grove. Further down, hidden among the understory, small songbirds prepare for rest. They fold themselves into the shelter of ferns or nestle into pockets of bark softened by time. Their movements are simple, almost meditative, as if they too are following the subtle rhythm of the night settling in. The sounds they make are not sharp or startling. Instead, the forest carries gentle hints, small rustles of wings, the softest shift of tiny feet on bark, and occasional low notes that drift like warm breaths through the cool air. These sounds blend with the rustling of needles high above, forming a tapestry of quiet presence that soothes rather than calls attention. In the branches of the giant sequoias, the nightbirds find a sanctuary shaped by centuries. The wide limbs offer steady resting places. The shadows offer comfort. The coolness of the night wraps gently around them. As they glide, settle, or simply wait, the birds become part of the forest's slow exhale. The night shift of birds in this grove is not a moment of activity, it is a moment of acceptance. They merge with the calm atmosphere, following its rhythm rather than shaping it. Their presence brings balance to the forest, adding soft movement to the stillness, soft sound to the silence, and soft life to the immensity of the giant trees. And as these gentle birds ease into their own quiet routines, the grove feels even more hushed, as though the night has thickened enough to cradle every living thing within it. Close to the forest floor, where the light settles softly and the air cools into a gentle hush, the ferns of the sequoia grove unfold a quieter world. Their fronds rest in wide, peaceful arcs, creating a green undercurrent beneath the towering trunks. Even in the dimness, they hold a soft glow, as though the forest has brushed them with the last traces of twilight. Ferns do not rush into the night, they ease into it. Their leaves respond to subtle changes in temperature and humidity, drifting into an even more relaxed posture as the evening deepens. In your imagination, you might picture the slight downward tilt of a frond, not from weight or strain, but from a serene willingness to settle into the dark. The soil below is cool and rich, shaped by years of fallen needles and gentle layers of moisture. This soft environment supports the ferns like a quiet cradle, allowing them to stretch outward without resistance. The tiny spores beneath their fronds rest lightly, untouched by urgency, waiting for a season that will arrive at its own pace. As the forest shifts deeper into dusk, a faint mist sometimes rolls between the trunks, drifting like a slow-moving thought. When the mist meets the ferns, it rests along their edges, forming small droplets that reflect whatever light remains. These droplets shine like tiny beads, calm, still, perfectly at ease. Ferns listen to the dark not through sound but through sensation. They feel the cooling air against their leaves, the slight humidity rising from the soil, the gentle settling of the grove as creatures move into their nighttime rhythms. There is no reaction, no tension, only a quiet adjustment, as though each frond is responding to the night with a soft nod. Around them, the movements of other forest life create small, soothing vibrations. A vole shifting under the canopy, a beetle tracing the pattern of a fallen log. These tiny motions pass through the ground as gentle pulses, barely noticeable, but always present. The ferns receive these pulses calmly, part of the forest's shared breath. In the presence of the giant sequoias, the ferns appear delicate, yet they hold a steady, grounded patience. They live in the softest layer of the forest, the place where shadows gather and the earth exhales. Their quiet presence adds a layer of peace to the grove, a reminder that life can be both tender and deeply rooted. And as the dark settles further, the ferns continue their silent listening, resting in the gentle rhythm of the night. Beneath the towering sequoias, the forest floor becomes a soft tapestry of quiet movements, small, gentle wanderers weaving their way through the shadows. Their paths are neither hurried nor direct. Instead, they drift through the understory in a meandering rhythm, exploring the spaces shaped by ferns, fallen needles, and the sheltering roots of the giants. A deer steps lightly across the soft ground. Its hooves press into the thick layer of fallen needles, creating impressions that fade almost as soon as they are formed. Each movement is slow, deliberate, and nearly soundless. The deer pauses often, not out of caution, but out of an easy attunement to the quiet around it. It seems to breathe in the cool night air, letting itself settle further into the peaceful rhythm of the forest. Nearby, a family of voles moves beneath the ferns, their small bodies creating gentle ripples through the undergrowth. They navigate tiny tunnels they've shaped over time, their motions soft enough to blend into the natural hush of the grove. Occasionally, a faint rustle rises as one shifts through a leaf or explores a patch of moss. These sounds are subtle, soothing, part of the forest's low, continuous lullaby. Farther off, a fox glides through the shadows. Its presence feels like a quiet thread weaving between patches of moonlight. It steps with remarkable ease, each paw meeting the forest floor in a way that barely leaves a trace. The fox's movements do not break the silence. They join it. Its tail flows gently behind it, brushing softly against the cool air. Every small wanderer in this grove moves with a sense of belonging. Their paths curve naturally around roots and stones. Their steps seem guided by memory, following trails they've walked many times before. Nothing disturbs the stillness. Nothing disrupts the atmosphere of soft exploration. The ground beneath these creatures is warm in some places, cool in others. Fallen logs stretch across the soil like ancient bridges. Moss softens the edges of stones. Everything feels settled, relaxed, ready to welcome any who pass through. As you imagine these gentle wanderers, notice how they contribute to the forest's nighttime pulse. They do not bring noise or haste. They bring presence, small, soothing reminders that the forest is alive in a calm, steady way. Under the watchful silhouettes of the giant sequoias, these quiet footsteps form a soft rhythm that drifts upward into the night. A rhythm that mirrors your own slow breathing, guiding you further into rest. The forest floor beneath the giant sequoias is covered with a thick, gentle carpet of fallen needles, soft, warm, and surprisingly luminous beneath the subtle light of dusk. As night deepens, these needles create a muted glow, not bright enough to illuminate, but warm enough to soften the shadows around them. Each needle holds a faint memory of daylight. The warmth it gathered earlier lingers into the evening, releasing itself slowly into the cooling air. This creates patches of gentle temperature that feel almost like small pockets of comfort, scattered naturally across the soil. Animals often pause here, resting in the ease provided by this warmth. When moonlight drifts through the high canopy, it catches the fine strands of these needles, reflecting in soft, golden hints. From a distance, the ground seems to shimmer lightly, as though threads of morning light have settled into the night and decided not to leave. This glow is quiet, steady, and deeply calming. The needles form a cushion that muffles every movement. A wandering deer places its foot upon them, and the sound disappears into the softness. A small beetle crosses the forest floor, making no noise at all. Even the breeze, brushing its way through the grove, becomes quieter when it passes over the needle-covered ground. The forest seems to appreciate this softness. Fallen branches rest comfortably upon the cushioned surface. Stones feel less harsh, their edges cradled by layers of needles that have gathered over many seasons. Everything feels rounded, muted, embraced by this gentle blanket. Occasionally, the needles shift slightly as the wind drifts through, creating delicate patterns that change without hurry. These patterns resemble waves on a still lake, slow, repeating, soothing in their simplicity. They reflect the calm nature of the grove itself. Nothing sharp, nothing rushed, everything unfolding in an unbroken flow. You might imagine kneeling to touch the forest floor here. Your fingers would sink lightly into the soft surface, meeting warmth before they meet soil. The texture would feel airy, almost feather-like, as though the ground is cushioning not just the forest, but your thoughts as well. As night settles deeper, the glow becomes even softer, blending fully with the gentle shadows. It no longer stands out. It simply becomes part of the atmosphere, a subtle warmth resting beneath the cool canopy above. The fallen needles remind us that even the smallest parts of the forest play a role in shaping its peace. They create comfort without effort, beauty without intention, and calm without ever asking to be noticed. As the night deepens, A gentle breeze drifts between the giant sequoias, a movement so soft and even that it feels less like wind and more like a quiet, ancient sigh. It carries a coolness shaped by the upper canopy, where the air has traveled across thousands of needles before descending into the grove. This breeze does not rush. It glides, flowing through the forest in long, unbroken waves. When it touches the bark of the sequoias, the breeze gathers a faint warmth left over from the day. It carries with it the delicate scent of resin, earthy, sweet, and comforting. As you imagine this scent moving through the grove, notice how it slows everything it passes. Ferns tilt slightly, as though acknowledging its presence. Fallen needles shift in tiny patterns. Even the shadows seem to soften, relaxing into wider, calmer shapes. The breeze also carries sounds, gentle ones. The faint rustle of needles high above, the soft brushing of leaves against one another. These sounds are round, muted, never sharp. They drift through the air like small reminders that the forest is breathing with you, each inhale and exhale following a steady, peaceful rhythm. Far above, branches move in graceful arcs, their motions guided by this ancient airflow. They sway not out of strain, but out of familiarity, having lived through countless nights shaped by breezes just like this one. If you imagine the forest over centuries, you might picture these branches responding to similar winds again and again, always with the same quiet acceptance. As the breeze moves deeper into the grove, it cools the air around stones and roots. This cooling doesn't startle or wake the creatures nearby. Instead, it invites them into further stillness. Small mammals settle more comfortably into their shaded corners. Birds resting in the canopy tuck their feathers a bit closer. Even insects seem to pause, adjusting calmly to the soft shift in temperature. If you pay attention to your own breath, you might notice how this imagined breeze aligns with it. Each inhale feels a little lighter. Each exhale feels a little longer. The rhythm between your breathing and the forest's movement begins to merge into one smooth, gentle motion. This breeze, older than memory, carries no urgency. It is simply part of the forest's quiet language, one shaped by age, softened by time, and woven into the nightly rituals of every creature resting here. As it drifts onward, the grove settles even deeper into the softness of night, and you settle with it. High above the forest floor, where moonlight lingers on the tips of ancient branches, the sequoia canopy keeps a gentle watch over everything below. The trees do not guard with force or effort. They offer protection through presence alone. Their massive branches stretch outward in calm, sweeping arcs, creating a shelter that feels timeless and endlessly patient. As the moon rises, its light filters softly through the needles, forming delicate patterns that drift across the forest floor. These patterns move slowly, carried by the faint sway of branches touched by the nighttime breeze. In this gentle play of light and shadow, the grove seems to breathe in a quiet rhythm, as though the trees themselves are humming a lullaby older than the land beneath them. The canopy holds hidden pockets of life, small birds tucked into sheltered branches, insects resting between clusters of needles, tiny ecosystems shaped by centuries of calm. None of these creatures move with urgency. Their motions are simple, natural, guided by the softness of the night rather than by need or instinct. A small bird may shift its feathers. A moth may drift through a beam of moonlight. These moments unfold with the ease of drifting clouds. Moonlight reflects gently off the reddish bark, giving the upper branches a soft, silvery warmth. This glow extends deep into the grove, touching the tops of ferns and the edges of fallen logs. It creates a sense of quiet spaciousness, as though the forest is opening itself to the night. Below, the forest floor rests confidently beneath this canopy. Every fallen needle, every stone, every small wanderer moves within the calm embrace of these towering guardians. The trees stand in stillness, not rigid, but relaxed, as though they have spent centuries learning how to settle into themselves. If you imagine looking upward from the ground, the canopy appears almost like a sky of its own, a gentle ceiling woven from branches and moonlit patterns. It gives the night a soft shape, a peaceful structure that invites you to rest deeper, breathe slower, and simply be. The guardianship of these trees is not an action, it is a presence, a soothing reminder that some things in nature hold their place through quiet endurance and steady calm. And beneath that calm, the night continues to unfurl, soft and uncomplicated, offering you a place to drift a little further into peace. Along the vast surfaces of the sequoia trunks, tiny lives unfold in ways so subtle they often go unnoticed. As night deepens, small insects begin their quiet wanderings across the bark, beetles tracing gentle arcs, moths settling into crevices softened by time, and tiny organisms moving slowly through the grooves of the tree's outer shell. They are the silent architects of these ancient surfaces, shaping and reshaping the bark through generations of soft, gradual activity. Their presence is not something the forest announces. Instead, it is felt through the faintest vibrations, barely a whisper through the wood, barely a movement in the still air. If you imagine bringing your attention close to the bark, you might sense these small wanderers not through sight or sound, but through a gentle awareness of life unfolding at a microscopic pace. Their trails create delicate textures across the trunk, each step contributing to the long story of the tree. The bark itself is thick, warm, and deeply layered, holding centuries of sunlight within its fibers. As the night cools, the warmth escapes slowly, creating a comfortable environment for the insects that rest upon it. Tiny legs glide across ridges and grooves, feeling the tree's surface as though reading a soft, ancient map. These movements do not disturb the tree. They merge with its presence, forming part of the larger rhythm of the grove. Occasionally, a moth drifts through a beam of moonlight, its wings moving in slow, steady pulses. It settles gently on the bark, folding its wings into the texture of the trunk as though becoming part of the tree's surface. Other insects rest quietly in small hollows or between layers of old wood, their stillness blending seamlessly with the overall calm. These silent architects contribute to the forest not through dramatic change, but through steady, unhurried participation. Their gradual shaping of bark helps the tree breathe, renew, and continue its quiet life. The tree, in turn, offers them warmth, shelter, and a stable foundation, an unspoken partnership shaped by thousands of peaceful nights. If you visualize this scene, imagine running your fingers along the bark. You would feel not only its roughness, but its warmth, its history, its quiet acceptance of all the tiny lives resting upon it. The bark tells a story written slowly, with no urgency and no haste. In this gentle interplay between insects and tree, the sequoia becomes a world of its own, vast, patient, and softly alive. As night drapes fully across the grove, a low, gentle fog begins to drift along the forest floor. It moves slowly, as though guided by its own quiet awareness, weaving between the roots and trunks of the giant sequoias. This fog does not arrive suddenly. It gathers with the same steady calm that characterizes the entire grove. It settles, unrolls, and reshapes the light around it. The fog cools the air in a soft, enveloping way. It wraps itself around fallen logs, resting lightly on ferns and moss. Each frond captures tiny droplets that glimmer faintly in whatever moonlight filters through the canopy. These droplets feel like small, quiet gifts, moments of stillness captured on the edges of leaves. As the fog moves between the trees, it softens all outlines. The trunks appear wider, rounder, and even more grounded. Their presence feels closer, more comforting, as though the night is drawing everything together into one cohesive breath. The ground seems to glow faintly, the fog catching and holding light in a tender way that blurs shadows into gentle gradients. Creatures of the night adjust to the fog with ease. A fox passes through it slowly, its outline dissolving into soft shapes. Birds resting in the branches sense the coolness and tuck themselves further into their sheltered spots. Even insects feel the shift in moisture, pausing their movements to let the air settle around them. Fog has a way of making everything quieter. Sounds become rounded and gentle. A twig shifting under a small animal's weight becomes a muffled tap. The wind slipping through the canopy becomes a soft hum. Even your own imagined breath feels part of the atmosphere, blending seamlessly with the floating calm. In this tranquil setting, the fog feels almost alive, not in a lively sense, but in a way that suggests awareness through stillness. It listens, rests, and moves with a patience shaped by the contours of the land. The grove receives the fog with equal calm, allowing it to weave its soft patterns across roots and stones. If you close your eyes and picture this moment, imagine the coolness brushing your skin, the scent of damp earth rising gently, and the faint glow hovering near the ground. It is a quiet world, wrapped in softness, carrying the wisdom of countless nights just like this one. As the fog continues to drift, the forest deepens into an even more restful state, offering a serene invitation to follow its pace. Beneath the quiet surface of the forest floor, the roots of the giant sequoias stretch outward in wide, gentle networks. They do not dive deeply. Instead, they spread across the earth in a calm, embracing pattern, connecting one tree to another in ways that feel almost like a soft, unspoken conversation. These roots carry water, warmth, and stillness through the grove, holding the memory of rain long after storms have passed. Imagine the soil beneath you, cool, dark, and rich with layers of fallen needles. Within this soil, the roots travel softly, following a slow path shaped over centuries. They move around stones, weave through patches of moisture, and settle comfortably into the earth. Their presence forms a quiet undercurrent to the forest, steady and grounding. Each drop of rain that falls into the grove becomes part of this gentle system. Some water rests among the soil's small pockets, some collects near the roots, and some slowly travels upward through the trunks, reaching the highest branches in a journey so gradual it feels almost like meditation. Nothing rushes, nothing demands. Everything follows a natural rhythm shaped by the long patience of the trees. The roots store moisture from past seasons, winter snows, spring rains, autumn mists. This stored water rests quietly, waiting to be shared with the tree whenever the forest becomes dry. It is not a reserve created through effort or urgency, but a simple, natural practice of holding what is needed, letting go of what is not. As the night deepens, the temperature cools, and the ground releases tiny wisps of warmth that rise from the roots. Small animals passing over the soil may pause for a moment, sensing the faint comfort beneath their feet. Moss resting on the surface stays hydrated, nourished by the hidden moisture just below. If you imagine placing your hand upon the earth here, you might feel the subtle warmth rising, mingling with the cool night air. It is a gentle contrast, one that reflects the balance the sequoias maintain between receiving and giving, storing and releasing, holding and letting flow. Above, the trees stand tall and serene, supported by this wide, interconnected foundation. Every part of the grove, every fern, stone, and fragment of bark rests within the quiet stability provided by these roots. They carry the memory of rain not as a burden, but as a soft reminder that nourishment arrives in cycles, each one blending into the next with ease. In this underground world, the forest's calm begins, and through these roots, the calm rises gently into everything above. Even in its stillness, the forest carries a gentle pulse, a soft rhythm shaped by temperature, moisture, and the steady breath of the night. It isn't a sound or a beat, but a subtle shifting of energy that moves through the grove like a quiet, ongoing exhale. This pulse is part of what makes the sequoia forest feel so deeply alive, even when everything appears motionless. As the night settles into its middle hours, the air cools in smooth, gradual layers. Warmth from the tree trunks meets the chill of the breeze, creating delicate pockets of shifting temperature. These pockets move slowly, rising and falling like distant ripples on still water. Creatures resting in the understory feel this movement and adjust their positions gently, never abruptly, letting the coolness settle around them. Moisture rises invisibly from the soil, shaped by the forest floor's rich, spongy texture. Tiny droplets cling to the lower leaves of ferns, catching faint moonlight and glowing softly. This moisture helps the forest breathe, creating a sense of quiet humidity that wraps around the trunks like a gentle embrace. High above, the canopy sways in slow arcs, responding to the night breeze with movements so smooth they resemble a long, deep stretch. These motions are not constant. They appear in waves, small natural responses that echo through the leaves and down the length of the branches. If you listen in your imagination, you might sense a faint hum drifting through the air. It is created by needles brushing against one another, by the soft airflow moving past bark, by tiny wings adjusting in the dimness. The hum is subtle, continuous, and comforting, forming part of the forest's soft pulse. Even the shadows participate in this rhythm. As branches move, shadows stretch and retract across the forest floor, changing shape at a pace so slow it barely registers. These gentle shifts bring a sense of fluidity to the night, reminding you that stillness can contain movement, and movement can contain rest. This pulse does not push forward, it invites inward. It encourages breath to slow, shoulders to soften, thoughts to drift. It carries the essence of night, a calm, steady unfolding that expects nothing and offers everything. Within this soft pulse, the giant sequoias stand as anchors of peace. Their presence steadies the rhythm, giving it weight and warmth. And as the forest breathes around them, they remain quietly aligned with the ancient cycle of night into morning, always patient, always calm. The grove, in this moment, becomes a living lullaby, one that gently guides you deeper into its quiet, soothing heart. Deep in the understory, where moonlight settles softly and shadows form gentle folds, live the quiet visitors of the night. They move with a softness that blends seamlessly with the calm of the forest, their small presences offering a tender reminder that life continues in the grove at a peaceful, unhurried pace. A rabbit emerges first, its body low to the ground, easing through the ferns with a delicate calm. It pauses often, not out of worry, but out of a natural rhythm shaped by the quiet world around it. The soft texture of the forest floor cushions each shift of its weight. Its whiskers catch the cool air, sensing subtle currents drifting among the trunks. Farther along, a fox appears, its outline gently illuminated by the faint glow filtering through the canopy. It steps with unbroken grace, placing each paw as though the forest itself were guiding its path. The fox's presence carries a quiet confidence, soft, steady, and aligned with the slow rhythm of night. It pauses near a cluster of moss-covered stones, breathing in the cool air before continuing its silent journey. Tiny rodents join this nocturnal gathering. Voles travel hidden pathways beneath the ferns, moving in short, gentle motions that create soothing rustles along the soil. Their movements resemble the small, natural fluctuations of a dream, brief, subtle, never urgent. Mice drift across fallen logs with delicate precision, their tiny feet tapping softly on the wood's smooth surface. Every creature in the understory seems to understand the grove's calm. Their movements do not disturb the quiet, they accompany it. The rabbit's slow hops, the fox's smooth steps, the vole's tiny shuffles, all blend into a gentle symphony of presence. Even insects resting on leaves respond to this atmosphere. They adjust their wings softly, reflecting faint hints of moonlight as they settle into their chosen resting spots. The sequoias watch over these shy visitors with a steady, grounded patience. Their large trunks form protective boundaries, offering pockets of shelter where these creatures can move without worry. Between the roots, the earth dips into gentle hollows, creating natural resting spaces where animals pause to enjoy the night's coolness. As you imagine this peaceful gathering, You may notice how your breath aligns with the forest's slow rhythm. Each inhale feels smoother. Each exhale feels softer. The creatures of the understory guide you deeper into this calm, reminding you that even the smallest lives contribute to the quiet magic of night. In the presence of the giant sequoias, these shy visitors move like fragments of moonlit thought, light, subtle, and beautifully serene. As the night settles into its fullest stillness, the sky opens into a wide, gentle tapestry of stars. Their light drifts downward in soft beams, filtering through the highest layers of the sequoia canopy. This meeting of constellations and branches creates a serene world where earth and sky feel quietly intertwined. The tallest branches reach so high that they seem to rest beneath the stars themselves. Moonlight gathers along their tips, glimmering in faint silver lines that sway with the slightest breeze. Each movement is slow, like a calm breath rippling through the treetops. Below, the canopy forms a delicate frame through which the stars appear in small scattered windows. These openings shift gently as the branches sway, creating constellations that seem to drift across the grove in soothing patterns. You might imagine the stars tracing soft paths along the treetops, as though they are curious visitors leaning down to observe the peaceful forest. Needles catch the starlight and reflect it in tiny sparkles. These reflections drift downward in faint trails, softening as they reach the forest floor. The glow adds a quiet shimmer to fallen needles, stones, and resting animals. It is subtle, like the dim glint of dust caught in a beam of lamplight, never bright, always gentle. The air above feels open, expansive, filled with the calm weight of night. Creatures within the canopy rest in still pockets, nestled among the branches. Birds tuck themselves into the soft shelter of needles. Small insects remain motionless, their wings folded neatly. The presence of stars above them seems to soothe everything into deeper rest. If you look upward in your imagination, the treetops appear almost like islands floating in a star-filled sea. The branches seem to cradle the night, holding it with the quiet confidence of something that has witnessed thousands of such evenings. Nothing competes with the light. Nothing interrupts its gentle descent. As the stars continue their slow journey across the sky, the forest remains comfortably aligned with their rhythm. The sequoias stand as steady anchors, grounding the vastness of the heavens in a warm, earthy presence. In this union of constellations and branches, the grove becomes a place where time feels wide and unhurried. The sky does not press downward, and the forest does not reach upward. Instead, they meet softly in the middle, a shared breath between earth and night. This moment invites you to settle further, letting your thoughts drift like starlight weaving through the branches, calm and effortlessly slow. As night deepens, the forest cools in slow, quiet layers. The air grows crisp around the edges of ferns. Stones become smooth pools of chilled stillness, and even the shadows deepen into restful shades. Yet the bark of the giant sequoias holds a gentle secret: warmth, hidden softly within its thick, ancient layers. During the day, the sequoia trunks gather heat from the sun. Their bark, fibrous, ridged, and deeply textured, absorbs that warmth and stores it like a soft memory. Now, in the cool breath of night, This stored heat escapes in slow, even waves, creating a quiet contrast between the cold air and the warm surface of the wood. Small creatures feel this warmth first. A moth, resting upon the trunk, spreads its wings slightly, sensing the subtle comfort beneath its tiny feet. A beetle pauses in a crevice, letting the gentle heat settle around its shell. The warmth doesn't radiate strongly. It simply offers a mild, steady presence, like holding a stone that has rested in sunlight all afternoon. If you imagine placing your hand against the bark, you would feel this warmth rising softly through the surface, barely noticeable at first, but unmistakably there. The texture beneath your palm would feel layered, giving the impression of countless seasons stored within. Each groove, each patch of soft wood, each gentle rise in the bark's pattern tells a quiet story of warmth received, held, and released. The forest around the trees adjusts to this comfort. Ferns nearest the trunks remain slightly less cool, their edges curling gently in the mild microclimate the trees create. Moisture slowly evaporates from the bark, carrying with it a faint scent of resin, earthy and soothing, as though the tree itself is exhaling a gentle sigh. This slow exchange of warmth creates a peaceful transition between day and night. Shadows soften against the reddish bark. Small animals draw closer, settling near the trunks to enjoy the calm temperature. Even the air feels rounder here, warmed by the tree's steady, patient generosity. Above, the canopy moves in slow arcs, but the warmth does not rise quickly. It lingers, settling at the base of the trees, grounding the grove in a sense of stability and quiet endurance. The giant sequoias, rooted in centuries, embrace the night not with resistance, but with a soft offering. A warmth that tells the forest that night does not bring emptiness, only another kind of stillness. In this gentle meeting of cool air and warm bark, the grove reveals yet another of its subtle rhythms, one shaped by patience and countless evenings just like this one. While the giant sequoias stand tall and serene, the forest floor holds its own quiet wonders, none more calming than the fallen logs that rest between the roots. These logs, softened by years of gentle weathering, become small worlds of their own. They cradle moss, shelter salamanders, and offer resting places for insects moving slowly through the night. In their stillness, they whisper soft stories of renewal. The wood of a fallen log is warm in some places, cool in others, depending on how much daylight it gathered earlier. As night deepens, the log releases its warmth in slow, steady breaths. Moss along its surface feels cushioned and damp, resting comfortably in the quiet humidity. Tiny droplets cling to the edges of the moss, forming delicate beads that glimmer faintly when touched by moonlight. Small creatures move gently through this softened world. A salamander glides across the log with unhurried grace, its skin catching the faint glow of the night. It pauses beneath a small overhang, settling into a pocket of moisture gathered earlier in the evening. Nearby, a beetle follows the log's natural grooves, its path slow and steady, as though guided by the gentle contours of the wood. Inside the log, unseen communities thrive in peaceful harmony. Fungi spread in calm, branching patterns. Microorganisms drift through the cool interior, shaping the wood's transformation little by little. Their presence is not felt through sound or movement, but through the soft texture of the wood itself, crumbly in places, firm in others, always gently changing. If you imagine resting your hand upon the log, you might feel a softness unlike anything else in the grove. The texture is comforting, almost velvety, shaped by years of quiet weathering. The wood yields just slightly, inviting calm. It carries a faint scent, earthy, sweet, and soothingly damp, that blends naturally with the fragrant air of the forest. Fallen logs also shape the light around them. Moonbeams gather along their surfaces, filling tiny hollows with gentle silver glows. Shadows form in small pockets, soft and rounded, creating a peaceful mosaic of light and dark. The logs do not stand out. They blend into the forest's nighttime rhythm with effortless ease. Their whispers are soft, carried not through sound, but through presence. They remind the forest that endings are simply new stages of stillness, that quiet transformation can be a form of peace, and that even in rest, life continues gently. The logs become gentle storytellers, patient, warm, and deeply connected to the grove. In their quiet company, the forest feels even more grounded, as though it has settled into its most relaxed state, steady, slow, and unhurried. Near the roots of the giant sequoias, scattered among mossy patches and soft blankets of fallen needles, tiny glimmers of light begin to appear. They do not shine brightly, nor do they flicker with urgency. Instead, they glow with a quiet steadiness, small lanterns created by bioluminescent fungi and gentle, drifting insects whose soft illumination brings a dreamlike shimmer to the forest floor. As your gaze settles into the dimness, these little lights become more noticeable. Some rest in clusters on decaying wood, glowing with a faint green hue that seems to rise from within the log itself. Others drift slowly through the air, small insects carrying warm points of golden light, moving with such gentle timing that they appear to be following the forest's breath. The glow they create is subtle, like moonlight softened through mist. It reaches only a few inches into the darkness, but it spreads a sense of calm wherever it touches. The light rests on the edges of ferns, outlining each delicate curve. It gathers along the bark of fallen branches, turning rough textures into soft gradients. Even the soil beneath the sequoias takes on a quiet luminescence, as though the earth is exhaling tiny stars. Small creatures wander through this gentle radiance. A snail moves with serene purpose, its shell catching pale light in smooth arcs. A moth drifts toward a glowing patch of fungi, settling for a moment before folding its wings into the glow. None of these movements disrupt the stillness. They enhance it, creating small stories written in softness. The sequoias accept this illumination the way they accept everything, with patient calm. Their trunks rise through the dimness like peaceful pillars, each one reflecting tiny traces of light in warm, reddish tones. The lanterns at their bases form small halos that blend naturally with the surrounding shadows. There is a quiet comfort in watching such subtle light. It feels like a reminder that night does not remove beauty. It simply changes how beauty appears. The forest becomes more intimate in this glow, inviting slow breathing and gentle thoughts. The lanterns are not meant to guide a path or reveal hidden places. They simply exist, offering a soft presence that reassures rather than directs. If you imagine leaning closer, you might notice the warmth of the air around these lights. It is mild, wrapped in the faint scent of moss and damp wood. You may feel a sense of settling, as though the forest is gently supporting you, inviting you to rest in its quiet company. In this dim, glowing world, the forest floor feels alive in the softest of ways, a place where calm gathers naturally and light becomes a gentle murmur in the night. Scattered beneath the towering sequoias lie countless fallen cones, small, warm-toned structures that rest easily on the quiet forest floor. They gather in gentle clusters around roots, nestle in the grooves of soft soil, and settle beneath ferns, where they become part of the grove's slow rhythm. Their presence adds a subtle texture to the ground, turning the forest into a quiet mosaic of shapes and patterns. These cones have spent many seasons in the trees above, absorbing sunlight, rain, and the gentle movements of wind. When they finally reach the soil, they do so without fanfare. They simply arrive, finding a resting place where they will remain comfortably for months or even years. Each cone feels like a soft punctuation mark in the story of the sequoias. If you imagine picking one up, you might feel its surprising lightness. Its surface carries the faint warmth of the day, lingering gently even as the night cools around it. The cone's scales create a pattern that resembles a quiet, natural spiral, a rhythm shaped by time and patience. This spiral grows slowly, layer by layer, mirroring the calm nature of the trees above. On the forest floor, cones create a soft arithmetic, marking the passing of seasons in gentle increments. A few cones gather beneath a young tree, forming a small constellation of shapes. Beneath older giants, there are many more, each one a calm reminder of the tree's long, steady life. They do not demand attention. They simply offer themselves to the soil, becoming part of the subtle transitions that happen across the grove. Small animals weave through these cones with quiet familiarity. A vole might push one aside gently as it travels. A bird might use a cone as a resting perch, its tiny feet finding balance on the textured surface. Even insects find shelter between the scales, resting safely within the natural grooves. As moonlight filters through the canopy, it catches on the cones in small, warm highlights. Shadows gather gently around them, creating a soft pattern of light and dark that shifts slowly with the breeze. The cones become small lanterns of their own kind, not luminous, but comforting, grounding the forest in slow, steady presence. Over many nights, moisture collects in the tiny spaces between the scales. This moisture carries the scent of the forest, earthy, warm, and subtly sweet. It nourishes the soil beneath, beginning the long, gentle process of returning the cone to the earth. In this quiet arithmetic, there is no urgency, no endpoint, only a slow unfolding, a natural rhythm, a peaceful continuation of the forest's steady life. The cones remind the grove and us that time can move gently, marking its moments in the smallest, calmest ways. As the night settles into its deepest calm, the grove begins to carry a soft fragrance, one shaped by resin slowly warming on the surface of the giant sequoias. This scent rises gently into the cool air, mingling with the faint sweetness of fallen needles and the dampness resting on the forest floor. It creates an atmosphere that feels both ancient and comforting, as though the trees are sharing a quiet memory of sunlight, even while the sky above is filled with stars. The resin glows faintly in some places, catching the moonlight in warm, amber tones. These small glimmers sit along ridges of bark like tiny pools of stored day, giving the night a subtle warmth that contrasts the coolness drifting through the understory. The combination of warm scent and cool air creates a delicate balance, a peaceful duality that defines the forest at this hour. Above, the stars spread across the sky in quiet constellations. Their light trickles through openings in the canopy, forming gentle silver threads that fall upon the trunks. When these threads meet the warm tones of resin, the bark seems to shimmer slightly, as though the forest is breathing light in and out. The effect is soft, barely noticeable unless you're still, calm, and simply letting the grove reveal itself. Small creatures rest nearby, drawn to the scent in their own quiet ways. A moth might find a resting place on the warm bark, folding its wings delicately. A small bird tucked into a branch above might adjust its feathers, settling deeper into its pocket of shelter as the fragrance drifts around it. Their presence adds to the night's sense of harmony, each movement gentle and unhurried. The resin carries a familiarity, a reminder of warm days, steady seasons, and countless years of sunlight absorbed and stored. Even now, under the cool touch of night, the trees hold on to some of that warmth, releasing it slowly, like a calm whisper into the air. This continuity between day and night creates a feeling of seamless time, where no part of the forest is ever truly separate from another. If you breathe slowly, you might imagine drawing in this warm, earthy scent. It settles softly within you, grounding your thoughts, easing the mind into a slower rhythm. The stars above seem to echo this rhythm, their gentle shining suggesting a patient, unhurried presence that matches the steadiness of the trees. Together, resin and starlight create a quiet harmony, a gentle merging of earth and sky that shapes the forest's nighttime identity. It is a world softened by glow, guided by scent, and wrapped in the slow breath of the grove. As we leave the detailed paths of the grove and step into a broader reflection, the giant sequoias invite us to consider the quiet memory they carry within their wood. Each tree stands like a living archive of seasons, rings holding stories not in words, but in gentle patterns of growth. These patterns form slowly, year after year, without rush or strain. If you picture a cross-section of a sequoia's trunk, you might imagine the rings stretching outward in soft circles. Some rings appear wide, shaped by seasons of abundance. Others are thinner, formed during cooler or drier years. Yet even the smallest rings grow with the same calm acceptance. The tree does not resist weather or anticipate change. It simply responds, adding each new layer with steady patience. Inside the wood, warmth and history rest quietly together. The deeper layers feel like soft echoes of ancient days, centuries where rain fell gently, snow arrived quietly, and sunlight filtered through branches long gone. These echoes never fade completely. They become part of the tree's essence, present but peaceful. Though trees do not remember as humans do, the patterns in their wood offer a different kind of memory, one shaped by presence rather than thought. A year of generous rain becomes a broad ring. A long summer becomes a subtle shift in tone. A mild winter leaves a delicate mark in the tree's gentle expansion. None of these signs are dramatic. All are calm reflections of time passing as it naturally does. Even now, as the night wraps around the grove, the wood continues its slow, steady life. It expands and contracts with the changing temperature. It releases warmth, gathers coolness, and holds moisture within its fibers. These processes are continuous and restful, like a sleeping breath that never truly stops. If you rest your imagination against the trunk, you might feel this quiet continuity. The tree is not recalling the past. It is simply becoming itself, layer by layer, moment by moment. Its memory is not something separate. It is part of its being. This understanding brings a soft kind of comfort. It suggests that life does not need to be remembered in detail to have meaning. Sometimes, simply living through each moment with calm presence leaves a deeper imprint than any active recollection. The sequoias remind us that memory can be gentle, patient, and woven into the fabric of our days, an accumulation of steady experiences layered softly over time. In the quiet of the grove, the shade cast by the giant sequoias feels like a gentle form of kindness. It rests across the forest floor in broad, soft shapes, offering coolness without asking for anything in return. Even at night, the memory of this shade lingers, a calm, steady presence that gives the grove its comforting sense of shelter. Shade from the sequoias is not a sharp contrast or a place of darkness. It is a soft transition where light fades gradually into gentle dimness. During the day, animals find refuge there, moving slowly beneath the calm canopy. At night, the shade becomes part of the forest's soothing harmony, blending seamlessly with moonlight and quiet shadows. If you imagine a deer resting beneath one of these trees, you can see how naturally the shade accommodates it. The animal settles easily, its body relaxing into the softness of the ground. The cool air beneath the tree wraps around it like a peaceful blanket. The shade seems to cradle the creature, offering a kind of quiet reassurance that everything is calm, everything is safe. The soil beneath this shade is rich and welcoming. Fallen needles gather in soft layers, creating a cushion that supports life with gentle ease. Moss settles into moist crevices. Tiny insects find comfortable pockets to rest in. Every element of this shaded world follows the same calm rhythm, slow, steady, unforced. The shade reaches outward like an embrace, touching ferns, stones, and fallen logs. It softens their edges, rounds their forms, and blends them into a peaceful landscape where nothing feels separate or isolated. Everything exists in a quiet togetherness. Even during the night, when shade and darkness flow into one another, the impression of shelter remains. The tree's wide base forms a natural boundary, providing pockets where animals can pause, breathe, and let their bodies relax. The shade becomes a gentle pause in the forest's slow movement, a moment of reset, of stillness, of calm. As moonlight drifts across the canopy, Small beams slip through narrow openings and settle on the shaded ground. These soft patches of light create a quiet contrast that feels soothing rather than dramatic. The interplay of shadow and glow forms a restful pattern, like a calm heartbeat spreading across the earth. The kindness of shade lies not in protection from something, but in its presence. It is a natural offering born from the tree's size, patience, and steady existence. It asks for nothing. It simply gives coolness, comfort, quiet space. And within that space, the forest and everything within it finds a deeper peace. When you look upward into the sequoia canopy, you are witnessing a kind of natural poetry. Lines stretching gently toward the sky, verses written in the language of height, patience, and quiet endurance. The immense trunks rise in slow, graceful columns, their branches unfolding like soft stanzas that take centuries to compose. Height in the sequoia grove is not dramatic, it is serene. It does not shout its presence, it rests in quiet certainty. The trees do not reach upward with force. They simply continue growing year after year, adding gentle increments of life that become, over time, a towering form of calm. As moonlight touches the upper branches, their silhouettes move in soft arcs. These movements resemble slow gestures, as though the trees are swaying in a rhythm only ancient forests understand. Their height gives them access to gentle breezes that never reach the forest floor. The air above is lighter, cooler, and touched by starlight that glides across their needles in delicate silver trails. If you imagine standing beneath one of these giants, you might notice how small and safe you feel, not from insignificance, but from being held within something vast yet gentle. The height above becomes a soft ceiling, sheltering but open, offering space for breath and thought to stretch quietly. The poetry of height also shapes the grove's soundscape. High branches catch the wind, softening it into a subtle hum that drifts downward like a lullaby. Needles whisper to one another in patterns that feel slow and intentional. These whispers form verses of their own, written in a language composed of movement and calm air. Light behaves differently at these heights too. During the day, it filters through layer after layer of needles, creating a shifting mosaic of brightness and shade. At night, the starlight catches only the uppermost branches, leaving the rest of the tree gently hidden in darkness. This creates a gradient, a natural poem written in light, soft at the top, deeper and more restful below. Height also brings perspective. From the canopy's upper edges, if one could look through the eyes of a bird resting there, the forest would appear as a continuous, peaceful expanse. The tops of the trees would resemble a quiet sea, rolling gently beneath the night sky. And yet, the trees do not strive for this height. They do not reach with ambition. They grow the way breathing happens, slowly, naturally, without thought or hurry. Their height becomes a reflection of their patience, each added ring contributing to a story that spans centuries. In this way, the sequoias teach that greatness can be gentle, that vastness can be calm, and that even the tallest forms of life can speak softly. Within the stillness of the sequoia grove, a gentle cooperation unfolds, so subtle, so unhurried, that it feels less like an interaction and more like a soft, natural harmony. Every part of the forest contributes to this quiet balance. The trees, the soil, the air, the moss, the insects, and even the lingering moisture from earlier rains. Together, they form an ecosystem that thrives not through struggle, but through calm interdependence. The giant sequoias share their shade generously, creating pockets of coolness where ferns, fungi, and tiny seedlings can rest and grow. Their roots travel outward rather than downward, mingling gently with the roots of neighboring trees. This creates a vast, interconnected network beneath the soil, a quiet foundation that supports the entire grove. Through this network, moisture moves slowly, nutrients settle gradually, and the earth breathes in a steady, grounded rhythm. Above, the canopy filters sunlight during the day and softens moonlight at night. This filtered light provides exactly what the forest floor needs, never too harsh, always gentle. Ferns respond by extending their fronds in peaceful arcs. Moss thickens over stones, finding comfort in the humid air created by the tree's slow release of moisture. The animals of the grove move in ways that further this quiet cooperation. Deer wander softly, dispersing seeds in calm, unhurried steps. Insects shape the bark with barely noticeable patterns, opening tiny channels that help the tree breathe. Birds carry spores and pollen without intention, simply by gliding between branches. Every action here is modest, patient. No part of the grove takes more than it needs. No part moves faster than the surrounding rhythm. Even decay, the soft settling of leaves, the slow transformation of fallen logs, becomes an act of giving. What once stood tall now nourishes new growth, continuing the circle of gentle support that defines the grove. If you listen closely in your imagination, you might sense this cooperation as a faint hum, never loud, never urgent, but always present. It is the sound of roots exchanging moisture, of air cooling as it touches bark, of tiny wings adjusting in the dimness. It is a harmony of quiet gestures. This gentle cooperation offers a reminder. Life can flourish through softness. Strength can come from stillness. Growth can happen not by competing, but by sharing space calmly and naturally. In the sequoia grove, every element contributes to the quiet balance, and through their cooperation, the forest becomes a place of deep rest, a landscape shaped by patience, generosity, and unspoken understanding. There is a kind of stillness in the sequoia grove that feels carefully shaped, not by silence alone, but by the presence of life moving at the gentlest possible pace. This stillness does not demand quiet. It invites it. It encourages thoughts to soften, breath to deepen, and attention to settle into a slower rhythm. When you step into this stillness in your imagination, the first sensation is one of spaciousness. The tall trunks rise around you like calm pillars, creating a natural sanctuary where sound softens and the air feels patient. Even your own movements, imagined or real, begin to slow, as though the forest is offering a peaceful rhythm to follow. Stillness in this grove is not the absence of activity. Rather, it is the presence of unhurried motion. A fern shifts slightly in the cool night air. A fox pauses between steps, letting its breath settle. A moth folds its wings and rests on warm bark. Each action unfolds with gentle deliberation, creating a sense of quiet continuity. The sequoias themselves embody this stillness. They have grown for centuries, never rushing toward the sky, never resisting the slow passage of seasons. Their height is the result of consistent, patient growth, an accumulation of countless moments where nothing rushed and nothing strained. Standing near them brings a calming perspective. Life moves in cycles, not in bursts. The forest teaches stillness through its sensory whispers. The scent of resin lingers softly, grounding the air. Moonlight filters through the canopy in thin, delicate threads that move as the branches sway. Shadows deepen and soften in a gradually shifting mosaic. Even the coolness of the earth beneath your feet feels like an invitation to release tension. If you sit quietly within this grove, even in imagination, you may notice your thoughts drift more slowly. They settle, like leaves finding their resting place on gentle soil. The forest does not instruct this. It simply creates a space where the pace of the mind can match the pace of nature. In this stillness, time feels wide. Moments do not push forward. They expand calmly, allowing you to rest within them. The forest suggests without words that rest is not the absence of doing, it is a way of being, a state of allowing, a soft returning to oneself. As the sequoias stand steady, they teach that stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without movement, peace without effort, presence without urgency. And in this gentle lesson, the forest becomes a quiet companion, guiding you deeper into your own soft center, an inner grove where calm is always waiting. In the quiet company of the giant sequoias, the passing of seasons feels less like a cycle of change and more like a series of gentle bridges, broad, soft transitions that connect one moment of the forest's life to the next, without sudden shifts. Here, the difference between spring and summer, autumn and winter is felt as a slow drifting rather than a defined boundary. During spring, the air grows slightly more fragrant, carrying hints of moisture and new growth. Ferns stretch a little wider, and the grove fills with a tender greening that feels like a warm breath after a long exhale. Summer arrives not with intensity, but with a soft rise in warmth. The shade beneath the sequoias becomes deeper, more comforting. The forest seems to lean into its fullness, holding sunlight in its wood and soil. As autumn approaches, the warmth does not vanish. It gently loosens its hold. The air becomes crisper in the mornings, carrying the soft scent of drying needles and moss touched by cooler breezes. The grove does not burst into color the way other forests might. Instead, it shifts quietly, allowing tiny details to signal the change. Slightly darker tones in the ferns, a slower rhythm in the animals' movements, a calm cooling of the ground. Winter settles with a quiet grace. Snow may rest along the branches, or the forest may simply grow still beneath colder nights. The sequoias stand serene, their bark holding warmth, their roots gathering moisture, their presence unchanged by the season's weight. Winter is not harsh here. It's a soft pause, a resting breath before the gentle arrival of spring once again. These transitions, these soft bridges between seasons, shape the grove's sense of timelessness. Nothing rushes, nothing announces itself dramatically. Each season merges into the next as smoothly as dusk drifts into night. If you imagine spending a full year in this grove, You might feel the rhythm of these changes in your own breath. You would notice how the air warms quietly, cools slowly, and carries subtle hints of what is coming. The forest doesn't resist these cycles. It welcomes them, allowing each season to add a new layer of calm to its story. The soft bridges remind us that change does not need to be abrupt. It can unfold gently in small shifts that feel natural, steady, and soothing. The sequoias teach this through their presence, living centuries through countless seasonal transitions without strain, without urgency. In this understanding, the grove becomes a place where time relaxes, where seasons meet softly, and where every moment feels like part of a long, peaceful continuum. In the quiet symphony of the forest, endings unfold with a tenderness that feels almost like a beginning waiting to happen. The grove is full of these gentle transitions, fallen needles becoming soft blankets for the soil, old branches turning into nourishment for tiny ecosystems, and ancient logs slowly melting into the earth they once stood upon. A fallen sequoia trunk may lie across the forest floor for centuries. At first, it still carries the warmth and scent of the standing tree. Over time, moss finds its way across the bark. Ferns grow along its softened edges. Beetles, fungi, and microorganisms quietly transform it from solid wood into a cradle of new life. The log does not resist this change. It rests into it, offering itself to the forest with a steady, unspoken generosity. This gentle transformation is not dramatic. It happens slowly, like water wearing down stone or mist settling across the ground. Each night, a new pattern forms. Each day, the wood becomes a little softer. What once rose proudly into the canopy now supports the roots and foundations of future growth. The forest continues, not by erasing what came before, but by folding each ending into a beginning. The sequoias themselves reflect this rhythm. As they release cones, seeds fall quietly into the soil, rarely sprouting quickly. They wait, they rest, they take their time. A seed may remain nestled in the earth for years before the right conditions arrive. And when it finally begins its slow ascent toward the sky, it carries within it the gentle legacy of everything that came before. Even the smallest details follow this pattern. A leaf curling at the edge, a patch of moss darkening with moisture, a fern slowly shedding one of its fronds. Each change is a subtle reminder that the forest does not cling or resist. It transforms by flowing naturally from one state to the next. In life, endings can sometimes feel sharp, but the forest shows another way, a way of letting endings dissolve softly into something new, a way of viewing transitions not as separations, but as continuations, quiet, steady, and full of possibility. If you imagine yourself sitting beside a fallen log, feeling the gentle coolness against your hand, you might sense this peaceful continuity. The wood beneath you once stood tall and now supports life of a different kind. It is a beginning shaped from an ending, and it asks for no attention beyond simple appreciation. In the grove, nothing truly disappears. Everything becomes part of the forest's slow, ongoing breath, a reminder that in nature, and perhaps in ourselves, endings are simply places where new calm begins. After wandering through the quiet rhythms of the sequoia grove, the softness of its seasons, the harmony of its creatures, the patience of its giants, we arrive at a deeper understanding of what it means to feel at home in nature, not as a visitor, but as a gentle presence woven into the landscape's slow, steady calm. Standing among these ancient trees, even in imagination, brings a sense of returning to something familiar. Perhaps it is the steadiness of their trunks, or the restful dimness beneath their branches. Perhaps it is the way the forest accepts every sound, every shift of air, every passing creature with gentle ease. Here, nothing feels out of place. Nothing feels rushed. Everything simply belongs. To return home to the wild within is to recognize how naturally your breath aligns with the forest's quiet pulse. Each inhale feels like stepping deeper into shade. Each exhale feels like letting go of everything that does not need to be carried. The sequoias show that there is strength in stillness, comfort in patience, and peace in allowing yourself to simply be. The grove does not require anything from you. It offers space, wide, calm, and timeless. In this space, thoughts soften, muscles release, the mind drifts the way moonlight drifts through branches, gently shifting without effort. Animals sense this comfort too. A deer resting near a fallen log closes its eyes with no hurry to reopen them. A bird tucked into a sheltered branch settles deeper into its feathers. Even insects resting along the bark find ease in the gentle balance of warmth and cool air. Everything in the grove reflects the same quiet invitation. Rest into yourself. As the forest wraps around you, the idea of home becomes less about place and more about presence. The wild within you is not loud or untamed. It is calm, grounded, patient. It mirrors the sequoias, steady, rooted, and capable of embracing stillness without resistance. Returning home to this inner wildness means meeting yourself with the same softness the forest offers. You become part of the landscape in your mind, a gentle participant in the slow rhythm of night, supported by the quiet strength of the giants around you. In this moment, the boundary between forest and self dissolves. You breathe with the grove, rest with the grove, and settle into the same ancient calm that has shaped these trees for thousands of years. And now, with this sense of inner home gently unfolding, the journey prepares to soften further, leading us into the descent, where the forest and the night guide you toward deep rest. As the forest eases into the quietest part of the night, everything seems to breathe more slowly. The air cools in long, soft waves. The branches sway with gentle intention. Even the distant hum beneath the canopy settles into a tone so steady, it feels almost like a lullaby. The grove does not grow silent. It grows softer. Movements that were once subtle become even more delicate. Footsteps of small animals blend seamlessly into the cushion of fallen needles. The faint rustle of ferns becomes a whisper. Light from the stars filters through the branches in thinner threads, touching the ground in quiet shapes that drift with each passing moment. The giant sequoias themselves seem to deepen into stillness. Their trunks, warm from the day, now cool at a pace so gradual, it feels like time stretching into a peaceful yawn. They stand like calm guardians, anchoring the grove in a slow, gentle presence. As you imagine yourself in this grove, you might notice your breath following the forest's example. Each inhale lengthens, each exhale softens. Tension dissolves in the same way daylight dissolves into evening, quietly, naturally, without resistance. Animals sense this shift too. Birds resting in the canopy settle more fully into their nests, their feathers smoothing into the rhythm of sleep. A fox finds a sheltered hollow near the base of a tree, curling into the comfort of the cool earth. Even insects reduce their movement, as though responding to the forest's invitation to rest. This slower breathing of the night creates a gentle transition, one that draws you closer to the still center of the grove. The forest does not ask you to pay attention. It simply offers its calm, allowing you to drift alongside it. Shadows lengthen only slightly now, losing their sharpness. The shapes of roots and stones become soft outlines. The glow of bioluminescent fungi turns even gentler, blending with the surrounding darkness in peaceful harmony. In this softened world, the night's breath feels like a quiet companion. It wraps around you, warm in places, cool in others, guiding you deeper into rest. Your thoughts loosen, your body settles, and your mind enters a space where the forest's calm becomes your own. With the grove breathing slowly around you, the journey prepares to ease even further towards simple reflections, soft conclusions, and the final embrace of sleep. As the night settles deeper into the grove, the question raised earlier, what does a forest remember, returns to you softly, almost like an echo drifting through the branches. And now, surrounded by the warmth and stillness of the sequoias, the forest begins to whisper its quiet response, not in words, but in presence. The giants stand unmoving, yet their calm reveals a kind of understanding shaped by centuries. Their trunks carry the memory of sunlight, rainfall, gentle winds, and countless nights just like this one. If they whisper anything back, it is that memory does not need to be sharp or detailed to hold meaning. It can be a feeling, a sensation of continuity, a steady unfolding of life shaped by patience. A slight breeze moves through the canopy, brushing the needles into soft murmurs. These murmurs resemble a gentle affirmation, a reminder that the forest remembers simply by existing. Its history is carved into its rings, woven into its roots, carried in the scent of resin that drifts through the cool air. You do not need to strain to understand. The understanding arrives naturally, like a slow exhale. As your awareness settles into this quiet conversation, you may notice how the forest's whisper aligns with a sense of calm within yourself. The sequoias seem to share a simple message that life does not require urgency to be complete, that growth happens quietly, and that presence is enough. They whisper reassurance into the night, grounding the moment in warmth and tranquility. Animals resting in the grove reflect this gentle wisdom. A bird tucks its head beneath its wing, settling deeper into its nest. A small mammal curls into a soft hollow beneath a fallen log. Even the insects resting on bark grow still, as though soothed by the forest's slow rhythm. The entire grove seems to breathe in harmony, as if sharing in the same soft whisper. Moonlight drifts through the branches in delicate ribbons, creating faint patterns along the ground. These patterns shift slowly, mirroring the forest's quiet message. Everything is always changing, but never abruptly. The forest whispers that you may rest, release, and drift as gently as these shifting beams. In this soft exchange, the question from earlier doesn't need a precise answer. The forest responds not with explanation, but with feeling, with a reminder that nature remembers in the way it holds its calm, its cycles, its stillness. And as you listen, your mind settles a little more, ready to follow the grove into deeper rest. As the night moves closer to its quietest hour, the forest eases into a deeper stillness. Movements that once murmured through the grove grow slower, softer, until they blend seamlessly into the surrounding calm. It is not an abrupt silence, but a gradual one, a settling, like snow descending softly through air. The sequoias anchor this peaceful moment. Their trunks hold the cooling air gently, releasing the last traces of warmth from earlier hours. This warmth rises in thin, tender waves before dissolving into the night. It creates a feeling of stability, as though the trees are guiding the forest into its most restful state. Birds resting high in the canopy nestle more deeply into their sheltered perches. Feathers smooth into place, bodies lighten into sleep. Beneath the branches, a fox curls into a soft mound of earth, its breathing slow and even. Tiny insects tuck themselves under bark, their wings folding neatly against their bodies. Everything becomes quieter, not from stillness alone, but from comfort. The air itself seems to soften. Breezes that once drifted between the trunks now slow to a gentle hush. The ferns scarcely move. Shadows grow rounder, losing their edges as they merge with the cool darkness. Even the faint glow of bioluminescent fungi appears more subdued, blending peacefully into the shaded earth. If you imagine yourself seated beneath one of the giants, you might feel the silence settling around you like a warm blanket. Your breath slows to match the calm. Your thoughts loosen their shape, growing as soft as the soil beneath fallen needles. The forest seems to expand in its stillness, giving every creature and you room to rest fully. This silence carries no emptiness. It is full of rest, full of gentle presence, full of the steady patience that defines the grove. The sequoias have lived through countless nights like this, and in their quiet guidance, you sense the comfort of continuity. Nothing is required. Nothing is pressed. The night simply is. As the silence deepens, the forest feels like a sanctuary of softness, inviting you to settle even further. The giant trees stand nearby as calm companions, offering their quiet assurance that the night is safe, gentle, and ready to hold you. With the grove resting in silence, the journey prepares for its final descent toward the softest reflections and the beginning of sleep's embrace. With the forest fully settled into its deepest quiet, a gentle path reveals itself, not through light or motion, but through the feeling of rest that now fills the grove. This path does not lead anywhere in particular. It is not meant to be followed with the feet, but rather with the breath, the mind, and the softening space within. As you imagine walking or drifting along this path, everything around you feels softened by night. The ground beneath you is cushioned with fallen needles, their warmth fading slowly into the coolness of the earth. The air is smooth, almost velvety. carrying the faintest hints of resin and moss. These scents rise gently, supporting your attention without pulling it forward. The sequoias stand quietly on either side, their trunks forming soft boundaries that make the path feel sheltered, like a narrow river of stillness flowing through a calm sea of shadow. Moonlight threads itself between branches overhead, falling in delicate ribbons that bend across the forest floor. These ribbons do not guide the path, they simply accompany it, offering occasional glimmers that reflect the quietness you already feel inside. As you move, your breathing becomes the true illumination. Each inhale brings a sense of gentle grounding. Each exhale stretches the path a little farther into peaceful openness. The forest does not direct your steps, it mirrors them, matching your pace with its own slow rhythm. A small animal rests near a root, its body curled into the soft earth. It acknowledges your presence in the quiet way of the forest, not through movement, but through calm acceptance. The trees do the same. Their presence is steady and supportive, like companions who understand that rest is a shared language. The deeper you drift along this path, the more you sense that it is shaped as much by stillness as by space. It is a reminder that rest does not require distance traveled. It requires only a gentle willingness to let the body settle and the mind loosen its hold on the day. The forest seems to offer its own breath as encouragement, carrying you into a state where movement is simply a slow unfolding of peace. The path becomes less defined now, fading softly into the general calm of the grove, because rest is not a destination. It is the absence of needing to arrive. And so the path lit only by rest guides you into the threshold of sleep's embrace, where the night holds you as gently as the sequoias hold the air between their branches. As the journey enters its final, softest moments, the last traces of moonlight settle gently upon the sequoia's ancient bark. The light no longer shines with clarity. It diffuses, spreading itself into warm hues that blend seamlessly with the reddish tones of the trunks. This gentle fading creates an atmosphere that feels both timeless and deeply restful. The grooves in the bark catch the dim light in subtle ways, forming delicate currents of glow that drift along the tree's immense surface. These currents move so slowly they seem almost still, giving the impression that the light itself is falling asleep. Every ridge, every fold in the bark seems to exhale a quiet warmth, a final whisper of the day that lingers before surrendering to night. Around the base of the trees, the ground rests in complete ease. Fallen needles have grown cooler now, carrying only a faint memory of the warmth gathered earlier. Moss along the roots feels tender and calm, its softness embracing the earth with quiet confidence. Tiny droplets of moisture cling to the bark, reflecting the fading light in soft points before dissolving into the gentle darkness. No creature moves quickly here. A small bird, tucked beneath a sheltered branch, shifts slightly in its sleep, its feathers settling into place. A salamander rests beneath a fallen log, its breathing slow and serene. Even the insects have found their preferred hollows, their wings folded neatly, their bodies still. The forest's final sounds drift into the quietest of whispers, a faint hum from the canopy, a soft sigh of air passing over bark. These sounds feel less like activity and more like the forest's way of settling into its own rest. If you imagine yourself leaning against one of the sequoias, your back warmed by the tree's lingering heat, you might feel the calm hum of its presence. The bark supports you with steady reassurance. The air around you cools gently, encouraging your breath to soften, your muscles to loosen, and your thoughts to slip into a quiet drift. The fading light becomes part of your own internal rhythm, softening, dimming, settling, until it feels as though both you and the forest are preparing to drift into the same deep, restorative sleep. Here, in the company of ancient trees and gentle shadow, the night becomes not an absence of light, but a soothing embrace, a quiet cradle, a soft invitation to let go. As the night drifts deeper into stillness, the grove settles into a silence so gentle, it feels almost like a presence of its own. This silence is not empty. It is full of soft impressions, the faint hum of cooled air, the slight settling of branches, the delicate quiet of life resting peacefully. It is the kind of silence that wraps itself around you like a warm, steady blanket. The giant sequoias stand in serene composure, their trunks absorbing what little light remains. Their height, once reaching ambitiously toward the sky, now seems devoted to holding the silence, anchoring it to the forest floor. Beneath them, shadows deepen into velvety shapes, soothing to the eye and calming to the breath. Every creature in the grove has found its place of rest. A fox nestled beneath a root grows still, its breathing soft and even. Birds high in the branches doze in the safety of their hidden perches, their feathers rising gently with each slow breath. Even the smallest insects, those that earlier wandered along bark or drifted through the air, have tucked themselves into sheltered nooks for the remainder of the night. The silence deepening around them does not suggest stillness alone. It suggests trust. A trust in the quiet rhythm of the forest. A trust in the presence of the sequoias, whose calm has shaped this grove for centuries. Their steady forms seem to whisper reassurance. You may rest now. Everything is held. As you imagine yourself within this scene, the silence becomes a soft cushion around your thoughts. Each inhale feels smoother, each exhale longer. The noise of the day fades into the background, dissolving into the cool, gentle atmosphere of the grove. The silence encourages your mind to settle, your muscles to loosen, and your whole self to ease into a slower rhythm. Even the light participates in this quiet. The faint glow from the stars dims slightly as clouds drift across the sky. The bioluminescent fungi offer only a muted shimmer now, like tiny lanterns softly dimming at the end of a long night. Everything in the forest aligns itself with the silence, creating a harmonious environment where rest feels as natural as breath. This is the softest silence in the grove, a silence shaped by acceptance, by ancient patience, by the gentle rhythms of night. It invites you to join it, to let your own inner motion slow, and to drift into a deeper state of peace. And as the night holds its quiet, the forest prepares to offer one final layer of rest. In the gentle hush of the late night, shadows gather around the base of the sequoias, stretching in soft, rounded shapes that cradle the forest floor. These shadows carry a warmth of their own, not from sunlight, but from the slow, steady presence of the trees themselves. Within them, the grove becomes a place where dreams seem to drift naturally, like soft currents of air weaving between the roots. The shadows settle deeply into the hollows created by ancient trunks. They fill the quiet spaces beneath low branches. They wrap around fallen logs and mossy stones. These resting places become small sanctuaries where the forest seems to lean inward, offering a peaceful refuge for every creature and for you, the quiet observer within this night. As moonlight glides softly across the canopy, it moves in waves, leaving parts of the grove in dim, warm shade. This movement feels unhurried, almost tender, as though the night itself is tucking the forest into a gentle sleep. The shadows respond by shifting only slightly, maintaining their rounded forms and soft edges. These are not the shadows of uncertainty or mystery. They are shadows that soothe, shadows that hold space for gentle dreaming. Within them, thoughts drift more easily. Worries dissolve like mist brushing past a tree trunk. Everything becomes slower, quieter, more spacious. A small bird shifts in its nest, barely disturbing the air. A salamander nestled near a fallen branch breathes quietly within its shaded shelter. Even the fox, resting in its hollow, closes its eyes more completely, its body fully relaxed beneath the comforting fold of darkness. If you imagine yourself stepping into one of these shadows, you might feel the coolness first, a calm, refreshing sensation that helps the body release its lingering tension. Then comes the warmth, subtle but present, carried from the bark of the ancient tree beside you. These two sensations mingle in a way that invites the mind to soften and drift. Shadows in this grove do not swallow light, they cradle it. They allow it to rest, to dim gently, to become something that guides rather than obscures. In these shadows, dreams feel safe to form. Dreams shaped not by urgency, but by soft landscapes and the quiet comfort of nature at night. The forest seems to understand this. Its silence deepens, its breathing slows, and the world becomes a quiet canvas on which your own inner landscape can settle. Thoughts fade into gentle images, soft needles falling through moonlight, distant stars shifting above the canopy, the steady presence of redwood shadows holding everything in calm balance. Here, surrounded by these ancient silhouettes, dreams unfold in their own quiet time, easy, drifting, peaceful. The forest has now reached its softest point, an hour where night and calm blend so seamlessly that they feel like the same gentle presence. No single sound stands out. No movement disrupts the air. Everything in the grove has settled into a unified stillness, shaped by thousands of quiet nights just like this one. The sequoias stand as serene silhouettes, their immense forms softened by the darkness that surrounds them. There is no contrast here, no sharp edge between tree and shadow. Instead, the shapes merge together, creating a calm, continuous landscape that feels both vast and intimate. The sky above is a velvety darkness, dotted with faint stars that drift slowly across the upper canopy, their light muted by the softness of the night. The cooling air moves with delicate intention, brushing gently against bark, moss, and the needle-covered ground. Each movement is slow, flowing, almost imperceptible, more like a suggestion than a breeze. This subtle motion carries with it the faint sense of earth and resin, wrapping the grove in a comforting layer of peaceful familiarity. Animals that earlier wandered the forest now rest in quiet pockets of shadow. A deer lies curled beneath a sloping root, its breathing slow and even. Tiny insects nestle into sheltered crevices. Birds remain tucked into their feathered warmth, unaware of anything but the calm surrounding them. Every living thing seems to share the same steady rhythm, the same soft surrender to the night. If you imagine yourself reclining beneath one of the ancient trunks, you might feel this unity settling into your own breath. The rise and fall of your chest aligns effortlessly with the forest's subtle pulse. Thoughts drift without direction. Muscles loosen in gentle waves. A deep sense of belonging emerges, as though the calm of the night has extended itself inward, becoming part of you. In this moment, the grove no longer feels like a place you are visiting. It feels like an extension of your own quietness, a natural reflection of the stillness you've reached. Night and calm become one, forming a space where nothing is asked of you and nothing needs to be done. The boundaries between sound and silence, light and shadow, presence and rest, all dissolve into the same gentle darkness. Even time seems to soften here, stretching out in a long, peaceful exhale. And in this softening, the forest prepares you for its final whisper, an invitation to drift fully into sleep, carried by the same ancient calm that has shaped this grove for centuries. The journey through the Sequoia night now reaches its final, quietest moment. The grove stands wrapped in darkness, yet the darkness feels welcoming, like a soft blanket drawn across the land. The ancient trees, the cooling earth, the resting animals, the drifting shadows, all merge into a gentle unity that invites you to rest completely. In this deep stillness, a sense of quiet truth begins to rise. It is not spoken, nor does it come from thought. It comes from the forest itself, from the way the sequoias have grown with patience, from the way the understory moves without hurry, from the way the night unfolds in slow, unbroken rhythms. The truth is simple. Everything moves, and everything rests in its own soft time. You feel this truth in your breath. Inhale, and the forest seems to rise with you. Exhale, and it settles again, a shared rhythm between your body and the calm world around you. Nothing is separate here. You are part of this slow movement, part of this stillness, part of this gentle flow. The ground beneath you holds the memory of warmth from the day. The air around you holds the coolness of night. Together, they create a balance that feels deeply comforting, like being cradled by the earth itself. The forest becomes a quiet companion, steady, grounded, endlessly patient. In this softness, the giant sequoias seem to speak, not through words but through presence. Their trunks rise like peaceful pillars. Their branches sway with timeless ease. Their roots weave through the soil in patterns shaped by centuries of gentle adaptation. Their entire being expresses one message. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion. These lines echo softly through the grove. They are not commands, but invitations. Invitations to release whatever still clings to wakefulness. Invitations to trust the softness of the night. invitations to let your body drift into the slow, natural rhythm that has been guiding you since the journey began. The grove continues to hold you. The shadows fold gently around your thoughts. The cool air rests along your skin in calming waves. Every sensation becomes a pathway into deeper rest, deeper peace, deeper sleep. Even your thoughts begin to quiet, settling like small leaves drifting onto still water. The final moments of wakefulness dissolve into the softness of the forest. You feel yourself aligning with the night's calm, becoming part of the same quiet flow that carries dew to the ferns, wind through the branches, and starlight through the canopy. And as you drift into sleep, the forest remains with you, steady, patient, whispering gently through the rhythms of your breath. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion,